Good evening and welcome to the evening news. In the headlines, Repsol to conduct surveys in Kanuku block. 1 dead and also critical after crane accident. And 120 Surinamese exploring destination Guyana. I'm Avnash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us for your Saturday, September 7, 2013 edition of the evening news. Now for the details. Spanish oil giant Repsol has invested millions of US dollars to conduct a 2D and 3D seismic survey in the Kanuku block offshore Guyana in its quest for oil. Sabatini Daniels reports.
Repsol has invested $35 million to carry out 2D and 3D surveys, which will commence September 9 and is estimated to be completed on December 9. During a tour of the vessel today, Repsol Atlantic Basin's exploration manager, Alan Keane, said the company will take advantage of the old data shot from 2008, merge it with the new data and reprocess it all together to get the highest imaging resolution so it could identify the location most likely to have oil. After which Repsol will then invest another $200 million to drill a well in the Kanuku block.
By the end of next year, 2014, we'll know what direction we're going to be taking. Is it Jaguar 2? Is it Berbice? Is it, something shallower, deeper, So that data will allow us to make recommendations to management moving forward.
Repsol will also be receiving daily reports on the progress from the vessel so it can monitor the developments. The 2D operations will take 10 days while the 3D operations will take 2.5 months. Natural Resources and Environment Minister Robert Prasad, who was present at the tour, said this is a step closer to discovering oil, which studies have shown has a high possibility.
But it's just ensuring that we get this type of work, the preparation done, and then eventually if we're able to identify a target, and then with the exploration completed, we hope eventually we can get to a commercial discovery of sort. I think the company will not be, this company as well as others, will not be expending $35 million in this activity, and then the next stage is in excess of $200 million US. So it shows a great deal of confidence about the hydrocarbon resources that we have offshore.
Repsol has been present in the basin for many years and has already set up an office here. Earlier this year, the company signed another agreement with the Guyana government to commence drilling for oil and gas in the Kanuku Basin offshore Guyana. Sabatini Daniels reporting for the Evening News.
A man's night out turned tragic after the car in which he was traveling crashed into a lantern pole while negotiating a turn at Crane Village on the west coast of Demerara, leaving 1 dead and another person critical. Asif Hussain, aged 29, of lot 3738 Independence Street, Lagrange, West Bank, Demerara, succumbed to his injuries at the West Demerara Regional Hospital, while Masood Khan, aged 20, of lot 4 Independence Street, Lagrange, is in a critical state at the St. Joseph Mercy Hospital. According to information received, Hussain, a former Demerara Gold employee, Khan, a clerk attached to the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, and 2 others went to a popular drinking spot on the west coast of Demerara and were on their way home when they met the accident. The other 2 men are reportedly in custody at the Vredenhoek Hoop Police Station assisting with investigations. From all indications, the dead man was sitting in the front passenger's seat of the motor car when the driver reportedly lost control and ended up into a lamp post. Amidst speculations surrounding a new proprietor of the Maikoni rice mill, Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy today disclosed that a well-known Buddies business group has purchased the mill through the bank's tender process. Here's Whitney Prasad with the details.
Speaking with this newscast today, Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy gave a detailed explanation as to how Om Prakash Buddy Shivraj is now the new proprietor of the Maikoni rice mills. According to Dr. Ramsamy, the Blairmont and Maikoni rice mills went into receivership and were taken over by the bank after the MRL was unable to pay workers and had been faced with major financial constraints.
For several crops now, we've had difficulty of different nature because of the operations of Maikoni rice mills. If you go back a couple of years, Maikoni rice mills, MRL, owned 4 operations, 4 major operations, at Blackbush Boulder, at Blairmont, at Maikoni, and at Inner When we began the last crop, all 4 were out of operation because the Ministry of Agriculture through GRDB had withdrawn the license. And the reason we withdrew the license was that Marconi Rice were old farms.
The facility, now dubbed the Buddy's Rice Milling Complex, was bought in July of this year, and according to the minister, this is a major addition to the industry at a time when harvesting is beginning. While the mill isn't in full functioning capacity and has received licensing from the Environmental and Protection Agency, this is not enough. The Guyana Rice Development Board will also need to approve a license for its operations as well.
Banks obviously took over the other two operations, Bearmouth and Marconi. The banks have since, through a tender process, sold the Marconi operation, which is one of the larger mills in Guyana, to Buddy's. And Buddy's has assembled a team, a technical team, to run that operation.
Meanwhile, partner and chief executive officer of the newly owned company, Arnold Gadraj, said that the mill is currently under renovation as they are in the process of upgrading and modernizing facilities there. The new CEO assured farmers that they are now in good hands. Rice farmers can expect honest and prompt payment of rice with the new management of the company. Meanwhile, GRDB General Manager Jagnarayan Singh said the requirements for a license include proof of ownership, assurance of quality, and sufficient grading equipment, among other things. For the evening news, Whitney Prasad.
President Donald Ramotar joined the Brazilian ambassador at a reception in celebration of Brazil's 191st independence anniversary last evening, where he lauded the relationship between the two countries. Anara Khan reports.
During a reception to mark Brazil's 191st independence anniversary, President Donald Ramotar said that the relationship between Guyana and Brazil over the past year has strengthened and gained new dimensions. Ramotar joined Brazilian Ambassador Luiz de Andre at his residence in Queenstown, Georgetown last evening with other top officials to observe the occasion. The president also noted that Guyana and Brazil have made significant advances in the last year in a wide range of areas, and this level of cooperation is a demonstration of importance with which the relations between the two South American countries can be viewed.
We welcome the conclusion of the Memorandum of Understanding on Infrastructure Projects in Guyana in July of this year. This mechanism provides the framework for the joint collaboration in the development of the hydropower resources, the upgrade of the Lethem-Linden Road, and the development of a deep water port in Guyana. It is envisaged that this enhanced partnership between our two countries will not only increase the prosperity of our two peoples, but would also redound to the benefit of the region as a whole. Our infrastructural projects, while of national significance, will form part of the wider South American physical integration program.
President Donald Ramotar went on to say that Guyana, a small developing country, is still committed to the regional integration process, especially with the Caribbean community and the Union of South American Nations. He mentioned that recently Guyana acquired associate membership into Mercosur, Common Market of the South. Ambassador Luiz de Andre also spoke about the growth of the relationship between Guyana and Brazil. He pointed out that the MOU was signed in December 2012 to establish a working group for infrastructural projects in Guyana. President Donald Ramotar stated in an effort to secure prosperity and improve quality of life for the people of Guyana, the government has taken several initiatives to create employment opportunities and to promote development in key sectors.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Juan Edgell, visited several projects that have looming deadlines in Regions 5 and 6 yesterday. His visit is in keeping with working to maintain government's zero-tolerance position on overruns on its contracts. Edgell reproached a few contractors for lagging behind on construction and for sloppy work. He was firm with one contractor, requesting that his team mobilize all its equipment and human resources and get the work done, as it was 7 months behind. The minister said that earlier in the week he met with representatives from the contracting service and stipulated that they were given extra time to wrap up the work. Yesterday he extended this to the end of 1 month. On the other hand, construction of the Rose Hall pump station at Region 6 is completed and the contractor is presently cleaning up. The project has met its timeline. The station will allow for the drainage of both residential and farming communities in Rose Hall, Williamsburg, and part of Port Morant, as well as benefit Gaisuku's land. Guyana is one of the first countries to recognize the importance of mangroves while moving to plant more and protect the trees from any form of danger. Whitney Prasad reports.
Despite reports of Ghana's mangrove project being at risk, Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy has indicated that the project today has made significant progress compared to 10 years ago. And to this end, the minister highlighted that many countries around the world are still faced with depletion of mangroves. Even while Ghana has been receiving financial support from the European Union, he stressed that this project was initially Ghana's idea.
And the ironic thing is that many fishermen face a major difficulty in their fishing activity. You know, I'm talking about the artisanal fishermen, the ones that don't go far, the ones that use sails. They have to use these sticks, which is mangrove. So in the old days, they just go cut it and go. And fishermen will tell you that one of their difficulty is they can't go and cut it, so that how they get these things is now regulated.
The minister said Ghana has played a leading role in the mangrove restoration project as it relates to responding to climate change and global warming. Even for those artisan fishermen who would use the mangrove sticks to fish, Dr. Ramsamy said Ghana have been planting enough to provide them with adequate amount to go about their usual work, while at the same time protecting the coast and other vulnerable areas. He said that through the project, shields were built to protect the mangrove, and rangers are also on site and in surrounding areas to ensure that the plants are protected. The objective of the Ghana Mangrove Forum is to build local and regional capacity in mangrove restoration and management as it continues to raise the public profile of values of mangroves in Guyana and to bring together national, regional and international researchers to share experiences and knowledge of the sustainable management of mangrove ecosystems. For the Evening News, Whitney Prasad.
Sexually active women will soon have free access to visual inspection of the cervix using acetic acid testing at the charity Oscar Joseph Hospital on the Essequibo Coast. A new clinic was recently handed over to the Region 2 administration by the Guyana Medical Relief. The $5 million facility is the third of its kind to be built by the GMR, a company located in Los Angeles, California, USA. The GMR Chief Operations Officer Shahir Chan said the clinic will assist young sexually active women to know their status early. He was pleased with the assistance and cooperation received from the Region 2 administration during the execution of the project. The GMR enjoys a strong relationship with the Health Ministry and various stakeholders in supplying that should be of drugs free of cost to Guyana. A contingent of 120 Surinamese tourists comprising of Girl Scouts and visitors arrived in Guyana and will be occupied over the next few days as they participate in scheduled tours and additional cultural activities. Over the next week, the guests that arrived on the excursion, organized by the Garage Tour Company of Suriname, will be experiencing the country's rich cultural heritage, the many historical sites in Georgetown and the Essequibo Islands, the country's flora and fauna, the exotic cuisines, along with the pulsating nighttime entertainment. This particular tour company, owned and operated by V. Premnot, has been collaborating with the Tourism Ministry and has been bringing over 40 visitors in Guyana on a weekly basis. Given this success, Guyana's Acting Tourism Minister Irfan Ali has pledged to further cement this and other such relationships to quadruple this amount by year-end. Plans are moving apace to address several issues pertaining to the disposal of garbage and improving the sewage system across the country. Here's Umadevi Box with the details.
The Guyana Water Incorporation, GWI, is presently in the process of conducting sample testing of wastewaters and sewage discharge into the Atlantic Ocean. This will be done through a foreign consultancy, Hydroplan, working in collaboration with a local counterpart, E&A Consultant. The sample testing is being done to determine the effects of sewage discharge on the marine life and will determine the necessity of a sewage treatment plant. This is according to GWI's senior engineer, Arshad Yaqub. Yaqub said that 6 sample testing areas have been identified: Banks DIH, Demerara Distillers Limited, Courtney Benn Contracting Services, and Kingston Wharf. The consultant is tasked with the testing of samples directly from the entities as well as 1 kilometer out in the Atlantic Ocean where the waste would have diluted. Currently, there is no mechanism in place to treat matters being discharged from the Georgetown sewage network. On the completion of the report from the consultant, GWI would have to assess the findings and pursue implementation of the recommendations. And an expected conclusion date for the project has not yet been determined. The team leader of the consultancy is expected in Guyana this month end to train GWI staff to utilize the equipment in conducting tests and monitoring sections of the sewer network. It was noted that the consultancy project has 2 objectives: the aim to assess the condition of the sewer pipes and fittings within the Stevedore community, and to develop a database of the Stevedore sewage network and monitor by cameras placed inside. Umadevi Bucks reporting for the Evening News.
A 36-year-old laborer from Lima on the Essequibo coast was fined $30,000 and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for possession of a utensil used to smoke cocaine. Beacham Northram appeared before Magistrate Sunil Skars at the Study Magistrates Court, where he pleaded guilty to the narcotic charge. According to a police report, on September 4, Northram was caught with the utensil in his pocket at Lima during a routine police patrol. He begged the police to give him a second chance, but was arrested and placed before the court. After the charge was read to him by the said magistrate, he pleaded guilty. Northram was not represented by an attorney. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. It's now time for us to take a look at sport, which is sponsored by Marcorp. In the headlines, synthetic track 70% complete, Chandapal spurs Derbyshire to victory, and new female football club in the making. Now for the details. The state-of-the-art synthetic track and field and football facility at Leonora on the west coast of Demerara is approximately 70% complete. This was disclosed by a Sport Ministry delegation, which made a site visit today to update local media operatives on the progress of work on the multi-million-dollar project. The actual laying of the synthetic service will be done by November, following which additional outstanding works will be finished to ensure the facility is completed within the stipulated time frame of late 2014. When completed, the synthetic track and field and football facility will serve as a home for athletics and football in Guyana. Cricket news. Shivnarine Chandapal used his vast experience to steer Derbyshire to a nail-biting championship win over Somerset on the final day at Taunton. The visitors reached 244 for 8 to scrape home by 2 wickets, with Chandapal ending on 74 not out after being dropped on 64. The victory lifted Derbyshire off the bottom of the Division 1 and left Somerset and Surrey in relegation places. The Indian leg spinner Piyush Chawla claimed 5 for 97 for match figures of 10 for 208, but it was not enough for the home side. Meanwhile, spinners Saeed Ajmal and Abdur Rahman shared 8 wickets to swerve Pakistan to a comprehensive 221-run win over Zimbabwe in the first test in Harare. Chasing 342 runs for victory, the Zimbabweans were routed for 120, with Ajmal picking up 4 for 23 and Rahman 4 for 36. Seema Junaid Khan took 2 for 20 to complete a resounding victory. Final scores in the match: Pakistan 249 and 419 for 9 declared, Zimbabwe 327 and 120. The second test will start on Tuesday in Harare. Finally, some football news. Female football development will be given a major boost with the launch of a new club on Sunday as part of an initiative birthed out of the Scotiabank Pepsi Schools Football Tournament. Details in this report. The launch of the new club will be held on September 15 at the African Cultural Development Association building on Thomas Lands at 15 hours. The formation of the club originates out of the Scotiabank Pepsi Schools Football Academy, and it is the brainchild of Lawrence Griffith, the coordinator of the annual academy. The club will comprise females, mostly under the age of 23. However, the door will be open to all females interested in playing football. The Scotiabank Pepsi Schools Football Academy is the brainchild of Colin Baker of the Ghana Sports Development Association. Griffith said there are not many female football clubs in Guyana, and in order to ensure that aspect of the game is developed, more clubs are needed, hence more games will be played. after the national under-17 female team was defeated by such wide margins in the just-concluded Caribbean Football Union tournament. Griffith decided to form the club with the aim of enhancing aspiring players' performance with sound tactical and technical training by qualified and competent coaches. Griffith said he is hoping interested parents and young girls will attend the launch, as part of the agenda is the election of office bearers to administer the club. When officially formed, Griffith said the club will approach the Ministries of Education and Sport for use of their grounds for training. Griffith added that persons desirous of being part of the structure and are willing to assist in the successful running of the club are invited to the launch. And with that, we've come to the end of sport. Of course, you can find these stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown and Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. To wrap up the evening news, we now take a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed on Sunday, September 8 at 14 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Sunday, September 8 at 14 hours 15 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the evening news for Saturday, September 7, 2013. I'm Apanash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.